Hi, I'm Jimmy Medhora. Welcome to the World Zarathustrian Chamber of Commerce Sydney Branch podcast series, which shares stories of entrepreneurs, professionals, and thought leaders. Today's topic for the podcast is on mum entrepreneurs. Women entrepreneurs who are also mums and lead a very busy life. In starting, let me just give you some very quick statistics about women entrepreneurs on the whole. According to Australian statistics, there's only been a 4% growth between 1999 and 2019 on women business owners and managers. The change is not rapid, but it is sustained and continuing over a long period of time. Today's guest, or mum entrepreneur, is young Dilkhush Dalal. She's a wife, a mother of two strapping young boys who are into soccer, cricket, and what have you. And she's also a graphic designer and now a specialist in entrepreneurship. So, without further ado, let me introduce you to Dilkhush. Welcome, Dilkhush.
Hi, Jimmy.
Hi. Dilkhush, every entrepreneur's journey begins with a story. What's yours? How and why did you start on this entrepreneurial journey?
So, Jimmy, my dad has been making bags for the last decade, I'd say, giving them out free to family and friends to avoid single-use plastic. I can honestly say we haven't used a plastic bag to do our grocery shop in this house for at least 10 or 12 years. So last year in July 2018, when Coles and Woolies banned single-use plastic bags, I got on the phone and said, Dad, come on, we have to do this properly. And that's where our story began. In September 2018, I started trading as the Crazy Bag Lady, otherwise known as the Bag Hag.
I love the name Crazy Bag Lady. It's so quirky, and knowing you, it's so you. Tell us something about your products, the range of products, etc.
All our bags are made in India, and most of our bags are made from stock lot or dead lot fabric. That means if we don't use the fabric, it gets burnt, dumped, or incorrectly disposed. One of the other things I'm super proud of, Jimmy, is the fact that my parents give employment to small groups of tailors that have lost their jobs when the big industrial and garment houses become automated. So this gives them access to income they normally wouldn't have, and every bag you see is hand cut, hand assembled, and hand sewn, and that's what makes us very proud to do what we do.
So basically, these are the factors that make your bags unique and different. Great. That's really great. Turning to mum entrepreneurship, how does a wife and mum affect your family life, your social life? How do you manage to balance your work life? Women are very good at it, but still, I'd like to hear it from your mouth directly.
Thankfully, it's 2019, Jimmy, and not all husbands are redundant. Mine does a lot. He pulls his own weight. He looks after the kids, drives them to sporting events, cooks when he has to, and makes it possible for me to have a small business of my own. In terms of social life, well, that's debatable. I think we used to be rock stars. Now we're just rocks. We don't go anywhere. We don't do anything. But that's life.
Quite true. Give us a sense of a typical busy day. What motivates you to keep going when you wake up in the morning? Do you have any sort of tips regarding self-care, creating and maintaining your focus, your energy? Because you have a very busy lifetime kind of thing.
You're absolutely right. My day starts with a school run. I often have to take the kids to soccer. I'm surprised I haven't turned into a soccer ball as yet. All I do is sit by the pitch. But in terms of self-care and creating and maintaining focus, I think the most important thing is taking time out for myself. I do yoga, a very gentle restorative style of yoga, and the day after yoga I do taekwondo, which is not gentle or restorative. It's pretty full on. It's where I feel like punching the kids but punch a bag instead. So yeah, absolutely. The other way to maintain focus, I often paint, and the biggest learning I've had is to turn the ringer off when I'm working, and I've learned to say no.
Learn to say no. I think some of us need to learn that too. What are the biggest challenges for you as a mum entrepreneur? How do you manage these challenges? And on the flip side, what are your most satisfying moments as a mum entrepreneur?
So I'd say my biggest challenge would definitely be the broken up working hours. I often work early in the morning, sometimes late at night, and often sitting by the soccer pitch, updating Instagram, Facebook, replying to emails or customer inquiries. There is also very little pay. I would say that's the biggest challenge. The most satisfying moments are quite interesting, though, because I think for me, besides being featured on your podcast, which I think makes me quite famous, I'd say the most satisfying moments are when children in the local area recognize me, point to me, wave at my car, and shout, "Look, it's the crazy bag lady." I love that change is starting from a grassroots level.
That's good. Oh, okay. So tell us something about your supporting crew apart from your husband and your children. Do you have any other mentors? Like, because there's branding, there's marketing, there's selling, there's funding and financial advice and stuff like that. How do you cope with all those challenges?
So, besides my husband and my kids, I have to say I wouldn't be able to do what I do without my parents. Mum and dad have been invaluable in supporting me. The other group I'd really like to thank is my really strong circle of girlfriends and sisters. They pretty much have my back. I can call them to help me label, I can call them to help me pack my boxes. I have a girlfriend in New Zealand who makes all my short videos. I literally wouldn't be where I am without them.
So where do you see yourself, your business in the short term?
I'd like to eventually move to more sustainable fabrics and production methods. And what I'd really love is to support some sort of indigenous bag making organization in Australia. These are big dreams, but I'm really hoping I can get them to happen soon.
India has moved to banning almost single-use plastics, whereas the rest of the world, the Western world, hasn't yet cottoned onto that. Or how do you think you will get that kind of sustainable kind of change in places like Australia, for example?
So, like I said before, I would like to change people's perceptions. I would like to make change at grassroots level. And I'm hoping to change the way corporations view waste and recycling and what they do.
That leads me to a question about what kind of advice would you give someone who is considering becoming a mom entrepreneur?
I don't think I have the handbook, Jimmy. I'm actually learning this every single day as I go. But for a mom, I'd say don't forget to notice the small joys. Don't forget to be there for your children. They grow up too quickly, and you don't want to miss that. I also have one other thing to say. It's great to ask for advice. Be gracious with accepting help, barter, swap, network. Do whatever you can. Lean on your network. They're there for a reason.
Excellent, excellent. So, in summation, I'd like to ask you, what kind of legacy do you want to leave, not only for your children, for future generations, for everyone else? Because that leads you to why do you do what you do?
So, Jimmy, I do what I do for my children and their children. I do this for the planet, and the legacy I'd really like to leave is leaving my part of the world, my family, my community, every person I meet. If I could leave my area a better, cleaner, greener place, then my job done. My job here is done.
Thank you, Dilkhush, for giving us the time, for making time from your busy schedule and giving us an insight into not only the crazy bag lady and the entrepreneurial journey, but also, for mom entrepreneurs. Before I wrap up, I would like to just tell our listeners to follow us on WZCCA's Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook pages. And also, Dilkhush, you can tell us how our listeners can follow you.
So, my bags are available at local markets as well as online on thecrazybag.com. I'm also on Instagram and Facebook. So, give me a follow, give me a share, send me a letter. You may even get a reply.
That's great. Thank you, everyone. Until next time, goodbye.